Hey there guys, what's up? It's Autobot Mike 18 here with another TV episode review. Guys, it's a big night. This was a very big night for TV, very big night for AMC. If you guys have watched both premieres of both episodes that I am reviewing for my channel, guys. Very, very big night. And I was definitely pumped for tonight, guys. Let me just put it that way, because we had the premieres, or the mid-season return of The Walking Dead, which I just reviewed. My review is already up on my channel. Check it out at some point, guys, if you watch The Walking Dead. And then, of course, we had the series premiere of the Breaking Bad spin-off, Better Call Saul. And that premiered right after The Walking Dead. Of course, I watched both back-to-back, and now here I am reviewing Better Call Saul. This is the first episode of Season 1 of Better Call Saul. That's right, they've already been greenlit for a second season, which means that Season 1 must be pretty damn good. So yes, this is Season 1, Episode 1, and the title of the episode is called Uno. And a lot of you guys are wondering, I got a couple questions over the weekend. Are you going to watch Better Call Saul, Mike? And yeah, of course, guys, I answered a couple of you. Of course I'm watching Better Call Saul. Guys, as most of you know, Breaking Bad is by far the best show I have ever seen in my entire life. And no, don't ask me, I haven't watched The Wire yet. I'll try. Nor have I watched The Sopranos. I will try. But Breaking Bad has always been my favorite show, and I binge-watched it all over a summer. What does that tell you? That means it's that good, yes. So when I heard that they were making a spin-off, and I think this was announced right when Breaking Bad ended, called Better Call Saul, and it was going to focus on Bob Odenkirk's character, Saul Goodman, I definitely got excited and said, yeah, of course I'm going to have to watch that. I mean, it's Breaking Bad related. I'm watching it, okay? So I definitely got pumped when I heard that they were releasing it. And then when I heard that Vince Gilligan and the whole creators of Breaking Bad, well, Vince Gilligan was the creator, but the team behind Breaking Bad, who worked on Breaking Bad, they were going to work on Better Call Saul, I definitely got excited. So you know I had to watch the premiere. And boy, was it something, guys. So I can't wait to get into everything that happened on the premiere episode. The show is going to be airing. Now, here's the thing, guys, with Better Call Saul. The show is going to be airing Monday nights, and Monday nights aren't that great for me because I have class until 5 at night, and then I have class the next day, and I have like a full, long, very long day with double classes. So I don't think I'm going to get a review up for every single Better Call Saul episode. I think I'm just going to be reviewing the premiere, which was tonight's episode, and I think I'll also review the season finale. And I'll just sum up the series and my thoughts on the series in general. So next week, if I don't review Better Call Saul, don't be surprised. Or tomorrow night is the second episode. I don't know if I'm going to review it yet, though. I'm not sure yet. I'm very, very busy, as some of you guys already know. I think I'm going to try to keep reviewing Walking Dead, though. I'm going to try to keep doing that. So anyway, getting into Better Call Saul. I'm going to, of course, basically sum up the episode, discuss, analyze it, what I think is going on with the episode, and then, of course, I'll get into my thoughts a little bit later on. But the episode starts off, and man, oh man, as soon as the episode kicks off, and we get this black and white shot, and we get the big reveal of Saul in disguise, I'm like, this is going to be something. And boy, was I right. Because basically the entire first scene of the episode, which was all shot beautifully in black and white. This entire episode was masterfully shot and directed. I don't know who the DP was, nor do I know who directed it. It might have been Vince Gilligan, but I'm not sure. I should check it on my phone as I'm doing this review, because they need to get credited. I should credit them and give them a shout out, because man, wow. So basically, Saul is living under a new identity in the first scene, and this is a sequel. This is taking place after Breaking Bad, and I have been waiting ever since the end of Breaking Bad, the series finale. As soon as the camera was pushing out on Walter White's dead body, and the show cuts to black, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, what's going to happen to Jesse, and where was Saul in the finale? As we all know, Saul was in the second to last episode, and that was his last appearance. So I wanted to know, I wanted to see Saul living his new life. We got that with the first 2 to 3 minutes of Better Call Saul, and it was perfect. It was exactly how I could have pictured it. Saul is working at a Cinnabon. They do show his name tag, but I didn't get a good look at what his name tag was. Because, guys, I'm taking notes as the episode is airing. Not a good idea, but what are you going to do? So I didn't get a good look at the name tag. I didn't get to see the name. I'm going to rewatch the episode tomorrow night because they're going to air it alongside what do you call it? The second episode of the season. And so Saul is working at Cinnabon, going through his normal day. He's got a mustache disguise, just great. The music, they got oldies music playing. It's incredible. And he basically comes home and he pours himself a drink. He's mixing all these different alcohol in this one glass. He's sitting down. He's watching TV. He's thumbing through the channels, and he's like, no. He shuts the TV off. He gets up. He goes into his like closet, pulls out a VHS tape, pops it in his VHS player, and puts it on. He's playing it, and oh man, you hear the Better Call Saul commercials. Because at first I was like, is this because it was shot in black and white? I'm like, is this before he even became Jimmy McGill? Is this before Better Call Saul takes place, or is it after Breaking Bad takes place? You know, because as we all know, Better Call Saul is the prequel to Breaking Bad. So I was wondering, since it's filmed in black and white, that kind of threw me off. I'm like, is this a flashback to Saul's earlier life? He's working at Cinnabon, then he pops on the tape, and I hear the Better Call Saul commercials, and I'm like, nope, it's not a flashback. This is this is after Breaking Bad. And I got so excited and giddy. Then it cuts to the intro. That was great. So basically, throughout the episode, guys, it's Saul throughout the first half of the episode, Saul interacting with clients in the courtroom and outside, potential clients outside of the courtroom as well. So the episode starts off, and you got a courtroom after the intro. You got a courtroom. 3 boys are on this like trial for like this misdemeanor that they committed, and Saul's nowhere to be found. And I should probably start calling him Jimmy McGill. Sorry about that, guys. I can't help but call him Saul. It's Saul, okay? But right now he's Jimmy McGill. Just keep that in mind. So he's nowhere to be found. The prosecutors are getting antsy. Everybody's getting antsy. So the judge sends the bailiff to go find Saul. He's in the bathroom. He's reciting what he's going to say. And the bailiff comes and gets him, and he comes into the courtroom, and he's given this great spiel, because Saul knows how to talk. He's a fast, smooth talker. He knows exactly what to say. Yeah, he may have to practice what he's going to say before he has to say it, but you're damn straight he's going to make some pretty damn impressive speech with making it slightly humorous at the same time. But he's that type of seedy lawyer you just love to hate. All the prosecutors would hate him, you know. He's with his 3 19-year-old clients, and he's trying to defend them, saying, listen, we were all 19 years old once. The dialogue is great, guys. It's great in this scene. And he's basically giving this whole spiel to the jury, and he sits down next to his clients, and there's just silence. Utter silence. The lawyer for the prosecution stands up, walks over to this TV, wheels it in front of the jury, pops in a videotape, presses play, and you see the 3 teenage boys in this house. They're playing with this cadaver head, and they're raping it. Take that all in for a second, guys. They're trying to screw a head, okay? And Saul's just sitting there, and he's like, you know, and the jury's watching this. The judge is watching, and just silence. It is genius writing, guys. And it's just the first scene in the courtroom. I'm like, yeah, that's the awesome dark humor we got from Breaking Bad. You would have something like 3 teenage boys screwing a cadaver. Okay, yeah, a cadaver's head. Okay, that's the great writing we got from Breaking Bad, and they're carrying it to Better Call Saul. Thank you. Okay, so then Saul tries to get a check from his defending these boys, and he only gets $700. And the woman who gives him the check is like, "Well, you should have had separate trials. It's $700 for the whole trial." And he's like, "No, it should be $700 for each boy I defended." And it's great. The dialogue is great. And a few minutes later, we meet Mike again. Mike Ehrmantraut, played by Jonathan Banks. Mike, definitely one of the most interesting characters from Breaking Bad. And of course, since this is the prequel, as we all know, Mike's fate in Breaking Bad, Thanks, Walt. I'm kidding. But we all know Mike's fate, and he is working as a parking ticket enforcer, or he's collecting parking tickets and receiving the money after people pay for parking in the courthouse, or for that Saul was in. So Saul comes up to him, and Saul tries to get away with having to pay the $3 for parking. He's like, "You look at all these stickers on my car," and Mike's like, "No, you're missing one." And I'm like, this is just great banter between Mike and Saul. And it's amazing how the two of them are going to be working very closely with each other. Obviously, they'll touch upon that and how the two of them come to start working together very shortly. I'm assuming by the end of the season they will. But right now, Saul or I should be saying Jimmy and Mike barely know each other at this point. Okay, he's just the parking ticket taker, if that makes any sense. So then then Jimmy goes to meet with two potential clients. I forget the name of the husband, a husband and a wife, but the name of the wife is Betsy because she's important later on in the episode. Keep that in mind. And they're discussing that, I don't know if we should hire a lawyer. It may not look right, but then Saul's like, you kind of need a lawyer. Lawyers are something you all kind of don't want, but you really need, like health insurance or something. He makes a great little speech, and the husband's like, yeah, screw it, I'm up for it. Let's do it. We need you. We need you, Jimmy McGill. And the wife's like, nah, we'll think about it. Let's leave. And that was great. That was great as well. And we basically see Saul going throughout the rest of his day. He almost gets scammed by two kids on skateboards who run in front of a car and pretend to get hit by a car as it's driving down a street. And they try to collect money from the person who hit them with the car. So Saul's driving. You got a great shot set up. I keep coming back to shots because the shots in this episode are incredible, guys. They really are. And you got a great shot set up in the back of the car. Saul's driving furiously, very fast down the road. He's talking on the phone, and he hits one of these skateboarder kids, and he's feigning a messed up leg. That his leg is broken, and they're threatening to call the cops, and Saul grabs the leg and realizes these two are scamming me, and he's like, you guys messed with the wrong guy, I'm a lawyer. He basically goes into all these things. He's like, because the kids ask him, they're like, come on, fork over $500, we won't say anything to the cops, and he's like, look at my car, you think I can afford $500, and then he goes and he gets himself out of it, and he scares the two skateboarder kids off. So that was great. And you see that Saul really, and this is interesting, before Jimmy McGill becomes Saul Goodman, he really was working at the bottom. He wasn't a well-known lawyer at all. His office is in this nail salon, in the back room of a nail salon. It's very tight and cramped. He can barely get into his own office space. His house is even worse. Which is something I'll get into a little bit later on. But it's interesting to see that this character of Jimmy McGill / Saul Goodman was at this place in his life at this one point, and we all knew him as Saul Goodman, the guy with the great suits, all the phones in his desk, he's got a great office, he's got a secretary, he's got a bodyguard in Huel Babineau, and and we're all like, as this episode's progressing, we're all like, now what went wrong? Not what went wrong, but how did he go? How is he going to go from Jimmy McGill to Saul Goodman? How is he going to make that transition? Something obviously is going to happen down the road, and I think the end of the episode kind of answers that. But basically, towards the second half of the episode, and this is where things get a little slow, and they get into a couple of scenes that not drag out, but scenes that I think didn't have enough backstory to sort of back them up. Basically, Jimmy goes to a law firm, H&M. I forget but the M in the law firm is McGill, and you think that this is Jimmy's law firm. You think this is partly his. You think he has a share in this firm, but it turns out that a check was delivered. What was it, like a $26,000 check was delivered to Saul, and he rips it up and he brings it to this law firm, and he's talking with these lawyers who he goes into this room and he's talking with all these guys, and he's defending a Chuck. He keeps defending him. They're basically trying to get Chuck to sell his share of the law firm. And apparently, we're like, wait a second, who is Chuck? The entire scene, I was lost because he keeps bringing up a Chuck, and I'm like, wait, who's Chuck? I'm not sure who this is. And it's revealed later on, after that scene ends, that Chuck is his brother, as Jimmy McGill's brother, Chuck McGill, which is also the McGill in that law firm, the HHM. So Saul drives over to his house that he is sharing with his brother, and it's like it looks like a big house from the exterior, but when you go inside, it's like a dilapidated little shithole. They have no power. They have to use candlelight. They have no proper refrigerator. They just got like a box with a bunch of ice in it. And Saul's brother is Chuck McGill. And he's typing away on his typewriter, and apparently, I read online because I was a little confused about this. I'm like, what is really going on with Chuck McGill? Apparently, he's going through some sort of mental illness, and this law firm wants Chuck McGill to sell his share of the company. And that is why they're sending the checks over and everything like that. And times are tough for Saul, or for Jimmy and Chuck. Chuck's getting kicked out of. Well, they want him to leave this law firm, and Jimmy's struggling to make money as it is. He's defending clients who are guilty, and of course, but Saul's always been about like, who cares if they're guilty? I can still make money, and that's how great Saul is. But he's not really making the money he feels he needs, and he's really desperate at this point. And after he has a very long conversation with his brother, he's like, you know what? It's time to take matters into my own hands. So, in the final act of the episode, which is by far the most exciting part of the whole episode, not just because of the way it ended, but because of just the whole tension. You got this tension that isn't really pulse-bound, or isn't that any kind of your edge of your seat type of tension. It's just that tension that's just like, I don't know what's going to happen here. This scenario is really outrageous. I don't know how it's going to end, but I'm so excited to see what's going to happen here, And so Saul meets up with the two skateboard kids who tried to scam him. And he goes into this whole spiel, and he's like, you know what, you guys want to make a quick $2,000? Listen to me. Let's do this one job I have for you guys. Since they're scammers, he plans to scam using these skateboard scammers. He wants to get the woman from earlier in the episode who has the husband. Her name is Betsy. He wants the two skateboard kids, one of them to get hit by her car. He comes rushing into the scene, and he's like, oh, isn't it amazing? I just happened to be passing by. She obviously hit somebody with her car. She hit one of these skateboard kids with her car. She's going to need a lawyer now. So then she's going to have to use Jimmy McGill. So Saul cooks up this whole plan, and he's going to give these skateboard kids $2,000, and he is going to represent this Betsy woman in court when these kids, sue, and they'll take it to the attention of the cops that she hit one of them with her car. So they set up this whole plan to hit her with the car. Saul takes the skateboard kids to her house, and they study her car, and they have the whole thing planned out. And Saul is spying on her as she's leaving her house in the car. Meanwhile, the kids are set up on the street. They're waiting for the car to come down, and they're going to put the plan into action. And Saul's back by this woman's house, waiting, to get the call, and he's going to be driving by, and he's going to defend her. So the plan starts to go well. Her car comes down the street. The skateboard kids are ready. They're in motion, and one of them gets hit by the car as everything is planned out. Excuse me. And the other skateboarder guy runs over, and they're brothers, so he runs over to help his brother, and he's like, what were you doing? And they're waiting for her to get out of the car, and we're like, alright, why isn't this Betsy woman getting out of the car? What's going on here? And the car just speeds off, so now it's a hit and run, so I'm like, interesting, what are they going to do here? And meanwhile, Jimmy is back by the house of this woman, and he's like practicing what he's going to say. They call him up on the phone, and they're like, listen, Jimmy, hit and run. She left the scene. So he's like, all right, we'll follow her. So they're following her, and they follow her to this house, and she gets out of the car, and we're like, is it the same woman? And it's not. This young Spanish lady gets out of the car, old Spanish lady gets out of the car, and they're like, "You hit my friend, we want mucho dinero." Like, it's great. It's a really darkly funny scene, as Breaking Bad always is great with dark humor. Oh, they always were and they always will be. And Better Call Saul looks like it's going down the same round. I love that. So they're like, "We want mucho dinero," and she's like, "Oh, okay." So she leads them into the house, and Saul, or Jimmy, I gotta get that right. He eventually pulls up into the house, into the driveway of the house, and he knocks on the door. He's wondering what the hell is going on. He's trying to look through the windows. He's like, "Where are these two kids?" He sees the damage on the car glass of that lady's car, and ironically, it was the same car that Saul's target was. Meanwhile, he's like, "Okay, now I'm just going to flip the whole story now. Instead, because this woman, he still thinks that this Betsy woman hit the skateboard kid. Okay, but she didn't. It was this old Spanish lady. So now he's like, okay, I'll just defend these two skateboard kids, and I'll get the money from defending them against this Betsy girl, who I originally wanted to defend, but because she was involved in a hit and run, I'm not going to defend her now. So, in a really, really jaw-dropping and shocking moment, this next thing happens. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you something amazing that happened as I was watching this episode. I was texting one of my friends who watched Breaking Bad and finished it a month ago, and we were going back and forth, and he told me 5 minutes before the episode ends, he tells me, "I heard it was spoiled that a major or a character from Breaking Bad is going to make an appearance in the end of the second episode of Better Call Saul, which is going to air tomorrow night." And I'm like, oh, I wonder who it's going to be. So we were going back and forth, texting during the episode. I was, of course, watching. We were texting, we were like, oh, who could it be? I was like, could it be Huel? Could it be, who's it going to be? That character, my friends, who was rumored to come back from Breaking Bad, to come back in Better Call Saul, comes back in the final scene of the episode. Saul's knocking on the door opens, and a gun is pointed at him. We cut to an extremely, very low angle shot, like set at the bottom, and you just see the hand holding a gun pointing at Saul, and the person beckons him in, and you cut to the shot of who's holding the gun, and it's Tuco! Tuco from Season 2. We all know what happened to Crazy Tuco, and oh man, that is insane. He beckons Saul to come in, Saul comes in, Tuco looks outside the house, shuts the door, the episode cuts to black. Excellent! Genius! I wish I was recording my reaction, guys, to the end of the episode. I literally lost it. It was the most, by far, out of anything I watched from The Walking Dead, and of anything I watched from all Better Call Saul, the biggest jaw-dropping moment of the episode, of the entire night even, was me seeing Tuco at the end of the episode. Because who saw that coming? Okay, who's in their right mind said, yeah, that's going to be Tuco opening the door. Yeah, that's Tuco. That makes sense. No, I didn't see it. Oh my god, and it makes so much sense because Saul never ran into Tuco. So Tuco's fate happened before Saul even came onto the show, so Saul didn't even know that Walter. I don't even think they brought it up to Saul that they dealt with a guy named Tuco. They might have, but I'm not sure. I don't think they did, because why did Saul ever? Why did he never say anything about that he ran into Tuco earlier in his life in this prequel? They probably never brought up a Tuco to Saul because he was already gone. And Tuco's fate happens to him in the second episode of Season 2, and then we had Saul come in 6 episodes later in Episode 8 of Season 2. So guys, that's great. Okay, I can't wait for tomorrow night's episode. That's freaking amazing. Who saw that coming? Let me know down below if you did. So guys, yeah, I really enjoyed tonight's episode. I like where the show's going. I like how it's a story about how Jimmy McGill became Saul Goodman, and I like to see where they're gonna go with this, because in the beginning of the episode you see Jimmy and he's struggling to make money. He's got his brother who's going through problems. His own law firm is trying to get rid of him, his brother. And he's got a dinky office. He's not making a lot of money. His clients, he's not getting the clients that he wants. And he's just not the fast-talking, easygoing Saul Goodman that we know from Breaking Bad. And I can't wait to see this character get to that point in his life. And we're going to see it happen and unfold before our eyes. And I can't wait for it. I honestly can't. And the reveal at the end was great. The entire final act itself was just so outrageous and so amazing to watch. So exciting. Yeah, guys, I love this episode. The cinematography was mind-blowing tonight, guys. Excellent shots. Just so many ones that just stand out. A great deal of wide shots, and you got different angle shots. I mean, it's just amazing direction and camera work. Really solid editing. Yeah, I'm going to give the episode a 9 out of 10. I really liked it. Really good premiere for Better Call Saul. The opening scene was great. The way it was shot. The whole scene in the courtroom was just brilliantly written. Really strong writing tonight. My only problem is that I'm really not sure where they're going to go with this whole law firm thing, this HH&M. I'm not sure what direction they're going with it. I think we need a little bit more backstory on it. I'm a little confused with it. Like, how is it going to play into this story? Is Saul going to clash with these guys? It looks like he's going to. I don't know. And there's also a couple conveniences with the whole third act. The car being the same car that they were trying to basically set up Saul and the two skateboard kids. The fact that it was Tuco's grandmother was just it was a big surprise. But the fact that it was the same car of this Betsy girl and they mistook it for Betsy's car, the fact that it was coming down the same street that Betsy's car was supposed to be coming down. I mean, there's conveniences here or there, but you know what? I overlooked them. This was great. And to anyone who's like, you know what? I'm not a fan of the way the show's going. It looks like they're just using Breaking Bad to further fuel the show. And what's the problem with that, guys? So what if they're gonna... How many spin-offs of great shows have we had? Let's be honest, okay? Just because they decided to throw in two other great characters apart from Saul Goodman into this first episode, is it really the end of the world? No, it's not, okay? They have a story. They have something going somewhere, and it's not a terrible thing if we're going to be seeing characters popping in and out who are in Breaking Bad in Better Call Saul. I'm not upset with that at all, and I don't think you guys should be either. So what did you guys think of the premiere episode of Better Call Saul Uno? Are you looking forward to the rest of the season? Do you think that this show can be solid based off of the solid foundation it has due to Breaking Bad's success? Or do you think that it's not that strong with just Saul Goodman as the leading character? I think it's going to be very good. I think it's going to be successful. I can't wait to watch more. I really can. I'm really excited to see where it's going to go. So guys, thank you so much for watching both of my reviews for Better Call Saul. And check out my review for The Walking Dead, the newest episode, if you'd like to, if you watch that show as well. It was a big weekend for TV, and I hope you guys enjoyed my reviews. And again, I'll see you guys in my next video. Stay tuned for my channel update video coming up this week. Bye, guys.